So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody.
What happens when the biggest star in women's basketball is celebrated by a billion-dollar brand and fans still reject it? That's exactly what went down when Gatorade dropped its much-hyped ad featuring Caitlin Clark. Instead of applause, it sparked outrage. Not because of Clark herself, but because of how the league and its sponsors continue to miss the mark. Fans saw the ad not as a tribute, but as a subtle insult and other attempt to box Caitlin into an image that doesn't fit her fire. Meanwhile, her game-worn gear just sold for $660,000. That's not hype, that's power. The disconnect is loud, the frustration is building. And the message from fans is clear. Stop trying to control the narrative and just let her cook. This isn't just about a commercial. It's about what happens when the system tries to profit from a player it still doesn't fully respect.
And there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed.
When Gatorade unveiled its latest ad campaign featuring Caitlin Clark, executives probably expected applause. After all, this was supposed to be a celebratory moment, the brand teaming up with the most talked-about name in women's sports. But what they got instead was a wave of rejection. Not from critics, from the very fans who helped turn Caitlin Clark into a phenomenon. Almost immediately, the internet lit up with a mixture of confusion, disappointment, and straight-up anger. The ad, meant to showcase Clark's journey and strength, came off to many as patronizing, outdated, and tone-deaf. The controversy centered around a particular visual, a kitchen. Yes, a literal kitchen, in a sport dominated by fast-paced energy and raw emotion. The decision to place Caitlin, who's known for her aggressive range and fiery leadership, to such a stereotypically domestic space felt completely disconnected from her persona.
I'm buying Powerade stock.
Is it a play on, like, women shouldn't?
No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds, like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women, she just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room.
Viewers didn't see empowerment, they saw erasure, a subtle signal that no matter how far a woman rises, she's still expected to smile and stir the pot. That wasn't just a creative misstep, it struck a nerve, especially in a league where women athletes have spent years fighting to be seen as equals, not accessories. Fans weren't mad at Clark, they were protective of her. The backlash wasn't rooted in hate, it was born from loyalty. They've watched her take elbows, get snubbed for the Olympics, be micromanaged by her coach, and now marketed like she's part of a 1950s commercial for baking soda. For many, the Gatorade ad wasn't a tribute. It was a tone-deaf attempt to cash in without understanding who Caitlin Clark actually is. And the numbers backed up the emotion. Social platforms like Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok exploded with commentary. Phrases like, "let her cook on," "the court, not in a kitchen," began trending. Memes flooded in. Even some sports journalists chimed in, calling the campaign a missed opportunity and proof the league still doesn't get it. There were no calls to cancel Caitlin, only demands that the brands and leagues start listening to the people who actually fill the arenas. The irony, this was supposed to be a moment of celebration. Caitlin Clark joining the Gatorade family was meant to be historic. But the fallout made one thing clear. Fans aren't interested in watered-down tributes or legacy marketing tactics. They want truth, they want authenticity, and they want the superstar they've rallied behind to be treated like the game changer. She is not like a box to be checked off in a corporate pitch deck. So while the brand expected a victory lap, what it got was a masterclass in how not to market a generational talent. And if this was supposed to be a win for Gatorade and the WNBA, Then someone forgot to tell the fans because they just sent the campaign straight to the bench.
If you are a star in the WNBA like Caitlin Clark, she's probably one of the few people that anybody you can mention to somebody that knows sports will know Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
She's getting a ton of deals. Coke, Gatorade, you name Nike deals. Now, I know a lot of the other players, like if you're the 12th person on the team, you're probably not making that much money, but I just feel like coming out like this, what are they going to bargain with? What is their like thing they're coming with that's going to change their salary? And that's what I was trying to figure out.
On paper, the Gatorade ad checked every corporate box. Inspirational music? Check. Slow motion footage? Check. A rising sports icon at center stage? Double check. But fans didn't see inspiration, they saw insult. The very first image that sparked controversy was a kitchen setting, which might have passed as symbolic or artistic, if it wasn't so painfully outdated. To the average viewer, it sent a message loud and clear. Here's a female athlete, and she still belongs in the home. That imagery wasn't subtle. It was loaded, and in 2024, it felt like a slap in the face. Caitlin Clark's appeal doesn't come from being safe or traditional. She's explosive, she's defiant, she stares down defenders, launches logo threes without hesitation, and owns the spotlight in every arena. So when fans saw her being portrayed in a domestic environment, the dissonance was jarring. It didn't match who they see on the court night after night. It didn't reflect the edge, the electricity, or the rebel energy that's made Clark a cultural lightning rod. Instead, it felt like a step backward in an attempt to soften her image, to control it. For female athletes, this isn't new. Serena Williams, Ronda Rousey, and even Diana Taurasi have faced versions of the same treatment. Powerful women in sports are constantly repackaged into something more palatable for mainstream consumption. And fans of Caitlin Clark weren't having it. They saw the playbook unfold in real time and they rejected it immediately. What made it worse was that Gatorade has a history of getting it right. Their campaigns with Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and Usain Bolt were iconic because they leaned into what made those athletes different, not what made them comfortable. So, when the same brand missed so badly with one of the most compelling figures in modern basketball, fans noticed, and they called it out. The backlash wasn't just about a single commercial. It was about the ongoing frustration with how Clark is being treated by the system around her. She's been elbowed on the court, minimized by referees, benched during crucial plays, and left off the Olympic roster all while putting up historic numbers. Now, even the brands meant to elevate her seemed to misunderstand her. The Gatorade ad became a lightning rod for that frustration, a symbol of the disconnect between how Caitlin Clark should be represented and how she's actually being packaged. Across social media, fans broke it down frame by frame. Threads popped up dissecting every creative choice. Why not show her training, dominating, leading? Why not capture the emotion she brings to every possession? Why not let her be her? The overwhelming consensus was clear. This wasn't a celebration of Clark's greatness. It was an attempt to make her less threatening. But Caitlin Clark didn't rise by playing it safe, and neither did her fans. They didn't fall in love with a cookie-cutter image. They fell in love with fire, swagger, skill, the kind of unfiltered excellence that shouldn't be confined to a kitchen or a script. While Gatorade fumbled the bag with a poorly received ad, Caitlin Clark's fans were busy doing something much louder than tweeting. Spending. In the same week that the kitchen-themed commercial sparked backlash, one of Clark's game-worn jerseys hit the auction block and sold for a jaw-dropping $660,000. That's not a typo. Over $500,000 for a single piece of memorabilia from a rookie. It didn't just set a new bar, it obliterated it. And what does that number tell us? Simple. Fans aren't rejecting Caitlin Clark, they're rejecting how she's being mishandled. They're all in on her game, her presence, her revolution. That $660,000 jersey wasn't just a collector's item. It was a statement. It shouted what the Gatorade ad forgot to say. This woman moves culture. Think about it. A rookie in the WNBA is pulling numbers that rival legendary athletes across all sports. This isn't about hype anymore, it's about impact. Clark isn't just showing up in box scores, she's showing up in Wall Street bidding wars, social media trending charts, sold-out arenas. In marketing terms, that's called brand heat. It's called love, obsession, loyalty, and most importantly, ownership. Fans feel like they discovered Caitlin Clark, and they're not about to let anyone misrepresent what she stands for. While the WNBA tries to find its footing with her newfound fame, Clark's brand is doing just fine on its own. Her gear sells out within minutes. Her jerseys dominate online searches. Kids across the country are customizing their kicks to match hers. The impact is measurable in dollars, yes, but also in hearts. People didn't just watch her at Iowa, they believed in her. And now that she's in the WNBA, they expect that same energy to carry over. But when the league and its partners get it wrong, fans feel betrayed. Because it's not just about basketball anymore. It's about trust. The $660,000 jersey sale also reveals another truth the league can't ignore. Caitlin Clark is the product. She's not just part of the show. And yet, the people tasked with promoting her are treating her like a supporting character in someone else's story. That disconnect is costing the WNBA more than just PR points. Fans are showing up and paying top dollar even when the system works against her. Imagine what would happen if it actually got behind her. The jersey sale wasn't an anomaly. It was a forecast, a preview of what's possible when you stop trying to contain Caitlin Clark and start letting her define the moment. And right now, she's defining a movement, one that isn't slowing down. Caitlin Clark is printing money, drawing record crowds, and setting viewership milestones with every game she plays. So why does it feel like the WNBA is stuck in neutral when it comes to marketing her the right way? That's the question, fans, and now analysts are starting to ask out loud. The truth is, the league's leadership and promotional teams have a massive blind spot, and it's becoming painfully obvious. They don't know how to handle a generational star whose popularity transcends the sport itself. Instead of embracing what makes Caitlin Clark unique, the system keeps trying to water her down. They shoehorned her into generic campaigns that could fit any player. They push narratives that prioritize team chemistry and veteran balance while ignoring the elephant in the room. Clark is the reason people are watching, not just fans of women's basketball, not just Iowans. She has NBA fans tuning in. She's got middle schoolers wearing her number. She's even brought WNBA coverage into mainstream morning shows and late-night segments. And yet, the league's messaging hasn't caught up. The Gatorade commercial was just the latest and most visible example of this. But it wasn't the first. From the Olympic snub to awkwardly edited highlight reels that downplay her contributions. There's been a pattern of discomfort with how to showcase Clark's superstardom. The marketing feels forced, cautious, and often backwards, instead of amplifying her voice and style. They try to blend her into the background of a league that's still trying to define itself. And here's where it gets worse. The WNBA isn't just failing to ride the Caitlin Clark wave, it might be actively holding it back. Fans see it in the way refs call her games. They feel it in the way some veteran players and coaches treat her rise with skepticism or outright resentment. They hear it in the commentary that focuses more on whether she's fitting in than whether she's changing the game. This isn't about disrespecting the league's history. It's about recognizing that Clark's presence represents the future, and trying to muzzle that future is a recipe for disaster. Meanwhile, brands and franchises outside the WNBA are starting to get it. Nike gave her a signature shoe deal. Gatorade, despite the misstep, saw the value in partnering with her. Even non-sports outlets are booking her for interviews and features. The public has already declared her the face of women's basketball. It's time the WNBA caught up, because here's the hard truth. You can't build momentum while holding your star back, and you definitely can't win over a new generation of fans by playing it safe. This is the moment to lean in, to reshape the narrative, to realize that Caitlin Clark isn't a problem to be managed. She's the opportunity of a lifetime. And if the league doesn't wake up fast, it won't just miss that opportunity. It'll hand it off to someone else entirely. For anyone on the outside looking in, the outrage over the Gatorade ad might seem like an overreaction. But fans know better. This wasn't just about one commercial, it was the breaking point in a long series of subtle and not-so-subtle slights that Caitlin Clark has endured since she stepped into the WNBA. The kitchen scene became symbolic of a bigger problem, a league and system that keeps trying to contain the very force that's saving them. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up to the WNBA, she exploded into it, bringing millions of new fans, record-breaking TV ratings, and sold-out arenas from coast to coast. But instead of celebrating her with open arms, it feels like the league has tiptoed around her popularity, almost as if they're afraid of what it represents. Every time she takes a hard foul with no whistle, every time she gets benched during a critical stretch of the game, and every time she's left off a highlight reel or snubbed for a major honor, it chips away at the trust fans have in the league's leadership. The Olympic team exclusion is a perfect example. Despite posting numbers that outclassed many of the veteran players selected, Clark was told to wait her turn. That phrase alone ignited a firestorm, not because fans thought she was entitled, but because it mirrored the very attitude they've seen all season. An attitude that says, "You're good, but not yet. Not here, not like that." The Gatorade ad didn't create the frustration. It crystallized it. It gave fans a single image to rally around, an image that represented everything they believe is wrong with how Clark has been treated. AIs, it's not just about bad marketing. It's about a culture that doesn't know how to handle a young woman who refuses to shrink herself for anyone. And that's why this moment matters so much. Because Clark's journey is about more than stats or sponsorships. It's about visibility, authenticity, and agency. It's about a player who represents something bigger than basketball, who embodies the idea that women can be loud, dominant, unapologetic, and still be beloved. Fans didn't fall in love with a brand-polished version of Caitlin. They fell in love with the real thing, the trash-talking, logo-shooting, high-Q competitor who doesn't flinch in the spotlight. That's what they want to protect. And that's why every misstep by the league, every tone-deaf ad, every snub feels personal. Because to fans, this isn't just Caitlin Clark's story. It's their story too. A story of showing up for someone who made them care again. Someone who reminded them why sports matter. So when they see the system trying to rewrite that story, they push back, loudly. Because if the WNBA won't fight for its biggest star, the fans will. And they're not going to stop anytime soon. If the WNBA, its executives, and marketing partners won't protect Caitlin Clark's narrative, fans have made it clear they will, and they're not waiting around for permission. What started as frustration over bad calls and a cringe-worthy ad campaign has transformed into full-blown activism. This isn't just about trending hashtags or angry tweets. It's a grassroots movement fueled by loyalty, emotion, and a growing sense of betrayal. The fans didn't just follow Caitlin into the league. They're now organizing around her across social media. New Clark-specific communities have popped up like wildfire. Reddit threads are flooded with scouting reports about which franchises would treat her better. Fans are sharing highlight edits that showcase what WNBA broadcasts leave out. Discord servers are buzzing with theories about what's really going on behind the scenes. This is no longer casual fandom. It's defense mode. It's protect the queen energy. YouTube channels are popping up just to track Clark's development. Parents are ordering their daughters her jersey before they've even watched a full WNBA game. Grandparents are tuning in to weekday matchups just to see her shoot from the logo. And in nearly every post or comment, there's a shared sentiment. If she leaves Indiana, we leave too. The message couldn't be clearer. Caitlin isn't just a player, she's the ecosystem. And this loyalty isn't confined to digital spaces. It's showing up in real life too. At away games, Clark gets louder cheers than the home team. Fans drive hours just to catch a glimpse of her warm-ups. Entire families are planning road trips based around her schedule. Merch vendors have stopped even bothering with full team displays. Caitlin gear sells out every time, while the rest of the inventory collects dust. Local businesses near arenas are offering Clark-specific discounts on game days, and some of her biggest supporters. They've already got alerts set for when the trade rumors heat up. Some are watching Phoenix, others are bookmarking New York Liberty tickets, just in case this goes beyond brand loyalty. It's tribal. Fans feel emotionally invested not just in her career, but in how she's treated. They saw her light up the college stage with confidence and edge, and they expect that same energy to thrive, not get crushed under outdated systems and fragile egos. They're not asking for favoritism, they're demanding fairness, visibility, respect. So now, when a coach benches her during crunch time, or when a ref swallows the whistle after a clear hit, fans don't just shrug it off. They screen record it, they dissect it, they demand answers. The league has never dealt with a fan base this activated, this connected, and this ready to walk away if things don't change. Because here's the truth, you can't cage momentum, and you definitely can't control a movement once it's in motion. Caitlin Clark started something bigger than herself, and now, fans are making sure it doesn't get silenced by bad marketing, bad calls, or bad management. This isn't loyalty, it's a revolution, and it's just getting started. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player, she's a billion-dollar brand in the making, and that brand is growing faster and louder than the very league she's playing in. The WNBA wanted attention, wanted a face of the future. Well, now, they've got one and they don't seem to know what to do with it. The problem isn't that Clark's too big for the league, it's that the league keeps thinking too small, and fans are watching this disconnect unfold in real time, right now. Caitlin's image is everywhere on Gatorade bottles, Nike mock-ups, magazine covers, and headline after headline. She's got deals with Coca-Cola, Nike, and Gatorade before she's even played a full season. She trends every time she plays. She trends even when she doesn't. Meanwhile, the WNBA is still running promotional clips that bury her highlights, under awkward cuts or focus on group shots that feel like PR compromise rather than celebration. There's an old-school mindset still lingering in WNBA leadership, one that's afraid of letting one star outshine the rest. But Caitlin Clark isn't just another star. She's a comet, and the refusal to let her light fully shine isn't just holding her back, it's stalling the league's momentum. This isn't about diminishing the other amazing athletes in the league. It's about understanding that stars pull others into the orbit. Magic Johnson didn't overshadow the NBA. He elevated it. Serena didn't erase women's tennis, she grew it. Instead of embracing that truth, the league and some of its stakeholders are trying to keep things even, balanced, controlled. But that strategy is backfiring. Fans don't want manufactured parity, they want a show, and Caitlin is the headliner. Every time the league tiptoes around that, it looks insecure. Worse, it looks scared. The irony is that Caitlin's brand could lift the entire league if they let it. Her jersey sales put money in everyone's pocket. Her TV ratings give exposure to players across all rosters. Her presence has already helped boost ticket prices and arena sellouts in cities she doesn't even play for. She's not a threat to the WNBA, she's its lifeline. Yet, somehow, the brand and the league feel like they're pulling in opposite directions. The branding machine around Caitlin is moving at lightning speed, tapping into every cultural current and fan market with precision. But the WNBA is stuck trying to slow that down, or worse, dilute it. That friction is obvious, and it's creating tension not just on the court, but among fans, media, and even teammates. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Caitlin Clark's personal brand is outpacing the very league she plays for. And that's not a Caitlin problem, it's a WNBA problem. One that won't be solved by downplaying her, benching her, or stuffing her into old narratives. The question now is simple. Will the league catch up to its star, or will it get left behind? Watching as the Caitlin Clark brand becomes bigger than the WNBA itself. Right now, the WNBA stands at a crossroads. One path leads to transformation, a league that evolves with its biggest star, leans into the cultural moment, and finally capitalizes on the wave Caitlin Clark has created. The other path, it leads to irrelevance. Because if things don't change fast, the WNBA isn't just going to lose a few viewers, it's going to lose the heartbeat of its current momentum. Everything about Caitlin Clark screams one's. From her style of play to her marketability, she's already drawing comparisons to Magic, Steph, even LeBron, because she's copying them, but because she's creating moments that define an era. But those moments can't survive in an environment that keeps stifling them. And fans are noticing that loudly. So, what's next? Fans are already preparing for the possibility that Clark might not stay in Indiana forever. Some are hoping for a blockbuster trade to a more progressive, media-savvy team. Others are watching the Olympic snub and wondering if she even wants to engage with USA basketball moving forward. There are whispers, theories, and full-on spreadsheets tracking which franchises are best equipped to give Clark the freedom she deserves. And if the Fever keep mismanaging her, those whispers will become roars. But the most dangerous consequence isn't a trade or a transfer, it's detachment. The very fans who turned WNBA games into must-see TV aren't lifers yet. They're new, They're passionate, but they're also flexible. They're here because of her. If she's silenced, sidelined, or made to look like a pawn in someone else's system, they won't hesitate to walk away. Not from basketball, from the WNBA, and don't mistake that for drama. That's economics, that's culture, that's reality. When fans feel like their hero is being disrespected, they don't just tune out, they take action. They cancel merch orders, they boycott games, they start following her next move on, forget the name of the team she left behind. The WNBA should be terrified of that kind of disengagement, because it's not emotional, it's strategic, it's a migration. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's brand will keep rising. She'll keep signing deals. She'll keep lighting up arenas. Whether it's in Indiana or somewhere else, whether it's in the WNBA or if things get bad enough beyond it, her fans aren't glued to geography. They're tied to her legacy. And that legacy isn't waiting for the league to catch up. What the league does in the next few months will determine everything. Will they finally build around the momentum she's created? Or keep trying to suppress it with outdated systems, tired narratives, and fragile egos? Because this isn't just about wins or losses anymore. It's about survival. The WNBA has one shot to get this right. And if they blow it, Caitlin Clark won't be the one who disappears. The league will. Silenced by its own refusal to embrace the revolution standing right in front of them, Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive, she detonated. In a matter of months, she transformed the WNBA's visibility, fan engagement, and financial future. But while her brand soars, the league seems frozen, unsure whether to celebrate her or contain her. The Gatorade ad fiasco was more than a marketing blunder, it was a mirror, reflecting the uncomfortable truth that the system still doesn't know how to handle a woman who refuses to play small. Her game-worn jersey selling for $660,000 wasn't luck, it was a statement. Fans are all in on Caitlin, not just for what she does on the court, but for what she represents. And they're watching closely. If the league continues to micromanage her shine, the fallout won't be quiet, it'll be seismic. This isn't about one player, it's about the future of an entire sport. Clark is the moment, the movement, the magnet pulling millions into the game. The WNBA can either embrace that power or get buried under the weight of its own hesitation. Because Caitlin Clark won't wait forever, and neither will her fans. The question now is, does the league want to grow or does it want to get left behind?